Well, the US is still struggling to avoid dropping off the so-called fiscal cliff. Failing to do so could put the entire global recovery at risk. President Obama has cut short his holidays to try and strike a deal to cap America's spending, with a divided Congress yet to reach a deal. Let's now talk to Caleb Maupin from the International Action Centre, which coordinates activism and information to oppose domestic and international injustice. Thanks for joining us. Well, tell us, what is the fiscal cliff and just how serious could it be?
Well, the fiscal cliff refers to disastrous economic results that will take place if the U.S. budget laws are not changed. They are set so that there's something called a debt ceiling. So that if so much money is spent, then all of a sudden there's a huge reduction in government spending. And this is really staged by the bankers and the corporations, because as capitalism is collapsing internationally, they're setting up and they're trying to get people used to the idea that they have to accept cuts in all the services they depend on. And so this is a staged crisis in order to force the people to pay for a crisis that the banks created.
Now, it's not the first time, is it, that Democrats and Republicans have squabbled over such a serious issue, which could plunge the country, as you say, into another recession. How long can this continue?
Well, the Democrats and the Republicans are playing different roles, but they're reading from the same script. The Republicans are trying to push forward the cuts. You know, they want to champion cuts in food stamps so that people can't get the food they need to survive. They want to champion the cutting off of unemployment benefits and the layoffs and the destruction of unions in the public sector. And the Democrats' job is to try and keep peace between the working class and those in the super rich, and to try and be accommodating and keep everything, but it's the same script. It's global austerity, forcing the people to pay, and it's rooted in the fact that there's overproduction. That's what it gets down to. Workers are being eliminated. As technology increases, few and few workers are hired. And as fewer workers are hired, workers themselves are consumers, and they can't buy back the products. And it's the problem of capitalism, the problem of overproduction, and that's what's behind all of this. And all of these mechanisms to try and save it with government programs and government intervention, they all can't get to solve the basic problem of overproduction, or the problem of capitalism.
So do you see a deal eventually being struck or not?
I think a deal will be eventually struck. I think this is staged. This is to get us used to the idea that all of the programs we've depended on to survive and the prosperity that we've had for so long, it's to get us used to the idea that we have to start giving that up and just start giving up the good lives we've had. And that's very frightening. That's a frightening normality. It's a frightening precedent to set. But that's what they're doing.
Of course, the US Treasury is working its magic, isn't it, to free up, well, $200 billion to avoid going above the debt ceiling of $16.4 trillion. How realistic is that? Well, I think we've just had some technical difficulties there, but we can thank our guests for joining us in any case. Okay.